Welcome back, everybody. It's your boy Sean, the American Krakow, back in my studio to talk to you about my Razer Huntsman Mini again. This time, though, we've got some good news. So, I put out a few videos at this point talking about the problems I've had with this keyboard, talking about the issues I've had with the support, trying to get this issue resolved. And to be honest, I had kind of given up. I have given up on this keyboard. I already switched over to an On Pro 2, and the functionality of that keyboard has got their hooks in me. But I was pleasantly surprised when Razer reached out to me via my support ticket, and they let me know that they've resolved my issue and that I need to do a firmware update to get it fixed. And I was excited, not overly excited. Like I said, I'm pretty well set in on this An Pro 2 now, and I don't know if I'm going to switch back over. So I let it sit for a day or two, and then I started seeing people dropping comments on the other videos saying, "Hey, Razer's released a fix. Razer's released a fix." And if they were confident enough or it resolved the issue for them, I wanted to be fair and also record a video talking about my experiences with that fix as well, and letting everybody know if it works or not. And I can confidently, at least happily, tell you that for me and the issues that I was facing, the firmware update did resolve my issue. I now have a functioning keyboard that I can reboot this computer with. I can start up this computer from a cold start, and immediately once I get past that login screen, I am able to access applications. I am able to do work. Before the firmware update, I had about a 10-minute wait on average before I could actually use the PC for anything. And it was all down to the keyboard. As soon as I removed the keyboard and put another one in, it was good. Now, during the troubleshooting though, the at one point they did reach out to me and tell me, "Hey, we're working on it. It will be in the form of a firmware update. Just, every once in a while reconnect your keyboard to your PC and check for an update using the Synapse application. And if there's a firmware update, do it. And that should, we will release a fix." So when I got the email stating that a fix was released, I didn't read it in detail, and that's my fault. Uh, because I kind of already had the knowledge in my head that the Synapse software would get updated and update the keyboard. So the first thing I did is I go ahead and removed my keyboard, plugged in the Huntsman, and as soon as I did, it was detected and the PC got locked up for about 10 minutes. Once that was done, though, I did open Synapse, and Synapse told me that, "Hey, we've got a firmware update for you. There's a software update." So I did the software update, and I was pretty happy. I was getting pretty excited that, hey, this is going to work. Once the software update was completed, I rebooted my PC, and everything locked up again. I was devastated. So I couldn't do anything. It was locked up. So I pulled out my phone and I basically just went through TikTok for 10 or 15 minutes, 30, whatever. And eventually I checked and the keyboard was responsive, the PC was responsive, and I was about to go and reply back to their email saying, "Hey, the firmware update didn't work." Thankfully, I didn't. And I actually read the email that they sent me. And in the email, there was a link to a very specific firmware that I needed to download onto my machine and run. And once I ran that software, it updated the firmware on the keyboard, and immediately I was able to reboot the computer and full access. Everything was working great. So, one, if you have an open support ticket and you see that they've resolved it or they tell you they resolved it, it's not just a Synapse software update. I don't know if you need to do both or not, but it's best to always keep your software updated anyway. I did the Synapse software update first, and then I actually used the software that was provided in the link they gave me. I will put that link in the description here in this video. So if any of you have the Razer Huntsman Mini and you need that software, you go ahead and download that and install it on your machine. Um, One user reached out to me, and I believe in their comments they said there was a different firmware For Asia, it, I have to go through my comments and try and find that. So if you're outside of the Asia Pac region, I believe this firmware that I have should be okay for you. If you're within the Asia region, maybe reach out to Razer first before installing any firmware and get confirmation that you're getting the right firmware update for your Razer Huntsman Mini if you have that issue where every time you restart your computer, it's just locked up. You can't do anything. But that being said, since I've had it, I've had at least 2 or 3 reboots now at this point, and it's working great. I'm happy to say that it is a fully functioning keyboard. However, like I said, there's some features on the On Pro 2 that have really got me hooked, and I don't know if I'll be switching over. I might try to use the, Razer for gaming and keep my On Pro 2 for everyday driving, normal usage. I mean, it's just a USB cable swap. It's nothing, just unplug and plug. I might try that because I really want to really have a chance to use these linear switches. I felt like they were going to be a good fit for me, and the sound that this keyboard has, the Razer that is, I love it. The only thing I didn't like was the rattly spacebar, and I might be able to fix that. I hope. But the rest of the keys, oh, I love the way it feels. I love the way it sounds. Um, but those arrow keys on the Ampere 2 got me hooked. So I'm definitely probably going to keep the Ampere 2 for my everyday driving. And I will probably try the Huntsman Mini, for my gaming sessions. One, I think I'll see the benefit or at least feel the benefit of the optical switches. And also, the angle, the position. So the Ampere 2 doesn't have adjustable feet that you can change the angle of the keyboard. It's on an angle, it's built in, and it's still comfortable. But the fact that the Razer has that kind of those legs that you can adjust, I think it's 15 and 30 degrees of a lift with the adjustable feet. Um, I'm gonna try that out and see if that helps with the feel for my longer gaming sessions. Uh, but I did want to be fair and say, hey, good job, Razer. I really appreciate the fact that you went out and you got this fixed. I know you guys were struggling to identify the root cause because even with all the detailed logs of troubleshootings that we did together, um, it was hard. You guys couldn't figure it out. At least the last time we spoke, you guys couldn't identify what the root cause was. So the fact that you guys went out and kept up at it, found the root cause, and addressed it, good job on you. I really didn't think you were going to do it, to be fair. Honestly, I didn't think you guys were going to fix it because maybe there wasn't enough of us impacted. So the fact that you guys did, thumbs up. Uh, I don't know if I'm going to pull back on my statement of maybe this was the last Razer product I've ever purchased. I don't know. It really was a rough process for me and a lot of money spent for something I couldn't use for over 2 months at this point. So I don't know. Maybe I give Razer a try sometime in the future. Right now, I don't think so. I don't need anything right now. Everything I have is working for me, and I like the setup I've got. So I don't think I'm going to mess with anything. But maybe one day I might give Razer a try in the future again. But the fact that they did come out and fix this for me, not just for me, but for all of us, I appreciate that. So good job, Razer. Thank you for getting that addressed. Love the keyboard. I wish you could have made the space bar a little less rattly. Otherwise, this would be hands down the best sounding keyboard I've ever used. Um, unless you like clicks, unless you like that clicky sound like a blue uh, a switch, then if you like something a little bit quieter, this keyboard was amazing except for that space bar. But that's going to be it for me, y'all. Thank you again so much for checking out the video. Razer, thank you again for getting this resolved. Don't forget, I will have a link to the firmware linked in my description as well. Like the video if you like these types of videos. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notify bell to get notified when I post new content up on the channel. And check out my Instagram. Link will be right about there. Anyway, peace, y'all.